Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole, and in today's video, we are going to be doing a flip through and recap of One Book July. Yes, I am aware it is almost the end of August, but I definitely wanted to get this video up on my channel, and hopefully late is better than never, but I do apologize for the delay nonetheless. I am super excited to show you these pages because some of these pages might be some of my favorites that I've ever done in any journal. And sometimes I feel like I say that all the time about every journal page in every journal that I do, but also I feel like a lot of times I really do mean it. Maybe it's recency bias, maybe it's just me sort of discovering and really growing into my own personal style, but I'm really proud of some of the pages that are in here. So let's go ahead and get started. If you want to see like the initial setup of this journal and me kind of explaining what One Book July is and why I was doing it, I will put a link to my One Book July intro video in the cards and the description. You can go check that out. I also did kind of start this journal at the end of June, so you'll see a few June pages in that flip through as well, but we're gonna focus mainly just on my July pages today. So a little bit of a quick overview though, like a TLDR. I am in a Leuchtturm A5 dot grid bullet journal. I have put it in this Roterfaden X Baumkuchen cover that I've had for a little bit over a year now, I want to say. If you're unfamiliar with the Roterfaden covers, basically it's like a traveler's notebook, but instead of strings, you have metal clips that hold the book in place. So you open these clips and you can slide in your notebook. You have the option to have up to 3 sets of clips, but because this notebook is rather thick for this journal cover, I'm only using the one notebook in here. So I went ahead and took the metal clips out just so that they don't get in the way. Other than the cover, I do have a Lamy Safari in the pen loop, and on the spine situation, I have a planner friendship bracelet that my sweet, very generous, very lovely friend Hannah over on Instagram, I'll put her handle down below. And I'm obsessed with it. It just has my username, and I picked out these colors and I love it so much. And she actually sent me a few, and I'm really excited because hockey season is coming up, and she made me a Penguins one and I'm so excited to use it. But I think it looks so good on the black spine with the leather, and overall this aesthetic just makes me really happy. But opening it up to the actual book, this is the Leuchtturm A5 dot grid notebook in the color Lobster. It is a very punchy coral red. It matches my nails perfectly. It was unintentional. I actually let my nail tech pick out this color for me. So totally unintentional, but a very happy surprise. So let's go ahead and open it up. I am going to skip right to July, but you can go ahead and watch that other video if you want to see all the pages that we just skipped. I believe in that other video also we saw a few days into July, so I am going to sort of go through these first pages rather quickly, but we have my stationery challenges and my monthly calendar. In addition to One Book July, I was also doing a mini fountain pen challenge where I was trying to write all of my currently inked fountain pens dry over the month of July. And I would say this is a success. So all of the checkboxes that are in black ink, these were all finished during the month of July, and the ones with penciled X's were all finished in the first 2 weeks of August. So very happy with that. Although I did actually re-ink most of these with the exact same ink because I was loving them so much, but the spirit of the challenge was a success and I did write them dry. I just then subsequently re-inked them exactly the same. So moving on to the weeklies, I did put all of the weeklies sequential instead of scattering them in chronologically. So all of the weeklies are here at the front. I did start my weeklies out with fountain pen, but you will see as we go on, I don't do that anymore. I pretty much exclusively use fountain pens in the daily journaling sections, and I prefer how black ink looks in the weeklies. So as we go forward, you'll see that. But this is also the layout that I have been consistently using this entire time, and it's just a take on a vertical weekly where I block off the work hours here because I do work a corporate 9-to-5 job, but I don't use this planner for any sort of work related tasks. So in the work time block section, I just kind of turn my journal 90 degrees and write out my to-do list here. And then everything outside of that section is for the most part time blocked. So let me actually flip to this week so you can see it is a little bit filled up, but you can see like on these last 2 days that haven't happened yet. Like my dermaplane is scheduled for noon, so that's where I put it. This Reds game is at 1:30-ish, I believe, so it's like relatively within the 1:30 time block. And then as the week goes on, I sort of memory keep, fill in, write things that I need to do, etc. This is one of my favorite weeks that I have ever done. I think it came together so well. All of these Peanuts comics are from a page-a-day tearaway calendar that I have on my desk at work. So as I like tear the pages off, if I think that I might want to use them in my journal, I save them. And then this week I just sifted through them and picked out my favorite ones to put here on the page. And I love how this turned out. It's so fun and bright. And I got to use my Snoopy washi tape, which, I mean, I guess I could use that whenever, but it felt absolutely perfect for this spread. And I love the way it came together. Also, I am not, as you can tell, really saying where a lot of the things here are from, because I've moved away from using like one, main deco sheet and sort of using that throughout the entire spread. And I've really just been grabbing things here and there from my stash. So if I were to say where everything is from, we would be here for like 8,000 years. And sometimes I feel like my videos already are very long. So if you have anything specific that you would like to know where it's from, you can leave a comment down below, and if you put like the date or like the page number that it's on, I would be happy to tell you where anything is from. It's just for the sake of time, I'm not going to do that for every single little thing. But this is, I believe, the last week. Yep, this is the last week of July, and I've really been enjoying this like half planning, half memory keeping style that I've been doing. I think it's working out really, really well. So this first spread was kind of a fail. It's a gratitude spread, and I really like the idea of it. I just honestly forgot it existed for like the entire month. Yeah, I might go back and fill it in because I was grateful for a lot of things in July. I just didn't write them down, but it is what it is. I also didn't finish this first spread. So it went off to a great start, didn't it? It gets better, I promise. Here's my Wimbledon spread. I believe you've also seen this before, along with my savings tracker, I guess you could call it. But it's not like a true savings tracker because it's not like all of my money. It's just everything basically except my 401k. All right, I believe this is where that first video ended. So now I'll get a little bit more into what was actually going on here. So I have video notes for that first video. I was also extremely inspired by people I was seeing on Instagram and YouTube during this time. So I took some screenshots of people who were like sticking out to me for whatever reason at this time. And I started making a list of like things I already had in my stash that I could use to like recreate these and draw inspiration for them. So the next 4 days, I took inspiration from each of these 4 people and did a spread based on them. And I did this little like Dutch door thing with this title that says inspired. And so on the 4th, we had, of course, Helen of the Coffee Monsters Co. She is always the moment. So I definitely wanted to do a spread inspired by her. Also, I was very inspired by her when I first started in this journaling community. So I definitely wanted to do another spread. I used to set my spreads up like this and just like her all the time back in like my first year in a Hobonichi Cousins. So this was very fun and nostalgic. Next, we have Bronte of Bronte Plans. And this one turned out, in my opinion, the best out of all 4 of these. I was just very surprised with how well it came out because this is probably what I was most intimidated by. It's just this like romantic, whimsical vibe so well, and I don't do it very well in my opinion. So I was a little bit nervous about it, but I think it turned out really cute, and I love this little fox sticker. So I think that's like why I like it so much, is because I like the sticker so much and I really wanted to like do it justice. So I really like that one. This was inspired by Julie of Plan to Create. She does a lot of these pages with just labels everywhere, and then she journals in them, and I think they turned out really cute. So I definitely wanted to do that. And then this one is by Lauren of Theory of Lauren. So we've got like, you know, the black and white images and the hand lettering, which I don't think I did justice at all. I kind of butchered it, but she does like the most beautiful hand lettering of quotes in her pages. So I definitely wanted to do that in mine. I just don't think I did it as well as she did. But this was also the day I reached 3,000 subscribers, which I am so grateful for. So thank you all so much for being here, even in my very sporadic uploading schedule. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. So now we're back to my normal style, and this was the day that the full all-star rosters for the MLB All-Star Game were announced. And you'll see that every day I use a different color fountain penning. So I don't really have like, I'm not going in order. I'm not like cycling through them. I'm just picking whichever ones I feel like it, as long as it's not the same as like, you know, the day I did before. So I had a lot to say this day apparently. And then I drew this like squiggle. It's kind of giving like Rainbow Road fruit roll up vibes. I don't know why I did that, but I did. And I think it turned out pretty cool. So I'm not mad about it, but I am a little bit confused, I will admit. Okay, this is probably my favorite page of the month. I think it came together so well with the colors, the washi. It's so full. There's literally zero white space in here. I love this like lettering that I kind of embedded into my normal handwriting. I just think it was like chef's kiss perfect. I'm obsessed with it and I love it. So this page was for a NHL like sorter quiz. So I don't know if you guys ever did the Tumblr like song sorter quizzes. I'll put a link down below if I can find her, but she would basically take all of an artist's discography, put it together, and have you answer head-to-head questions to rank them against each other. And then, you know, it would shoot out a list of what your favorite songs were in order. And someone made that for NHL teams. So of course I had to do it. And then because I'm me and I love tier lists, I basically took the list and made it into a tier list and then did a journal spread about it. Next, we have a July content calendar, which if it were to be labeled more correctly, it would be a content log. I didn't actually plan anything out in here. I basically just kind of wrote it in after I had already posted the content, which I did try to do a little bit of planning over here, but as you can see, I only did one video that I planned. So it's not really a planner. It was intended to be a planner, but it wasn't. But it is nice to have, you know, if I want to look back. So I'm not mad I did it, but I probably won't do this again just because it did not fulfill the intended purpose. This is another spread that came together really well. Obviously big things happened this day, or I guess technically the day before because this paper came out the next day. But I've been trying to incorporate current events into my planner more. And Linda from Linda Loves Creating shared this app called Front Pages where you can like download the front page of any newspaper. And I thought that that would be the perfect way to include this without having to like write about it, if that makes sense. Because I do tend to do a lot of my writing centered around myself and like my very personal life, not exactly what's going on around me. So I definitely wanted to include this because it happened. This day was also weird because I was like in and out of having internet the entire day. So I tried to be productive, you know, until it came back. But every time it came back, it would go away again. And it was just a very strange day. But I really like the way this spread turned out. So this is one of two spreads I did in collaboration with Hub Man and Shop Girl this month. And this was a memory keeping style spread inspired by one of those ribbon boards that I used to have in my bedroom when I was a kid. And I just like made these photo strips of my cats to celebrate my 3-year adoption anniversary. I can't believe it's been 3 years since I adopted them. They're like everything to me. So this spread I think turned out really cute and it's just super special. And then I also did this like functional cat tracking spread to track like basically everything related to them because it's something that I desperately need in order to remember things. So I think this one came out really cute too. I love these stickers. So next we just have more daily journaling, video notes. This day was funny because after work, I always go to Pilates on Tuesday nights. And when I came back at like 7 p.m., this note was taped onto my door. And I'm not going to open it because it was written by my neighbor. And I think it has like house numbers and stuff on here. So I'm not going to open it. But basically, his cat jumped out of his window onto my balcony. And when I saw this, I like immediately ran over there because I was gonna have him come in, you know, and get the cat from my balcony. But because I was at Pilates, he was like out there with like a ladder because I'm on the second floor, and he was trying to get the cat off the balcony. He is safe and back in his home now. He was just literally chilling on the balcony. They picked him up off the balcony and he's just staring at you with like the most bored expression on his face. It was so funny, but definitely wanted that in my journal. And then next we just have a lot of writing. This was a spread I did because I was very excited that the Pirates were half a game out of the wild card. Perhaps I got a little bit ahead of myself because now they suck again, but you know, it's nice to have this in here to remember the good times, I guess. Sunday, however, not a good time. One of the worst like anxiety days I've had in a while. So I basically like word vomited on here and then taped over it with this Bad Day washi tape from the Coffee Monsters Co. and then just put bad vibes on there, and we were just gonna move past it and never look back. So on this day, there was a trend going around on Twitter that was like, if you killed me in a video game, this is the loot I'd drop. And it was essentially like, they'd post a picture of like all of their favorite things. And I wanted to do mine in like this Animal Crossing style because I was like, you know, inspired by like the video game aspect. But like the actual trend had like flat lays of like what was in their bag. And it was more of like that kind of style. But I printed out this screenshot from Animal Crossing and I went through all my stickers and like found stickers of my favorite things to put in there. And I thought that that was like a fun journaling take on the trend. You'll notice a lot of long form journaling because that was the original intention of this journal, was I wanted a place to long form journal because that was something I was missing in my A6 Hobonichi, which was more of the like creative style. But I wanted to like marry the two, and that's what this turned into. So lots of writing. And then this was the day, well, I don't think this was the day that College Football 25 came out, but it was like the first day that I was playing it for an extended period of time. So that was fun. Then the Olympics started and I get like overtaken by the Olympics. I'm almost like to a point obsessed with the Olympics. It's one of my favorite sporting events and I love really all sporting events. So that's saying a lot that this is my favorite. Specifically the Summer Olympics. The Winter Olympics, I watch like 2 events and it's like ice skating and that one ski jump where it's like one big hill followed by like a bunch of flips in the air. I don't even know what it's called. Every 4 years, I just like Google it and then I immediately forget once the event is over. But the Summer Olympics are my jam. And I was locked in this year, even more than normal. So I definitely wanted to document it in my journal because I was so excited about it. But if I learned anything from the Tokyo Olympics in 2021, it's that I have no idea when things are happening. So I definitely wanted a schedule in here in order to try to make a little bit of sense out of what is going on. And then as the Olympics were going on, I boxed all of the events that I was watching. And then I have like a medal counter here and I love the way this turned out, but it took a lot of time to get here. Basically everything on here was covering something up that I did originally and didn't like. This page went through about 4 iterations, which made me very nervous, but in the end it turned out as something I really like. So that's just like my advice to you. Anything in your journal can be fixed. Nothing is, well, things are permanent, but you can always cover them up is what I'm saying. So this was my scheduling page. And then originally I had intended for this page to be where all of my thoughts about the Olympics lived for the entire 2 weeks. And I'm pretty sure I filled this up in like 4 days. So definitely needed another page. So I actually have 2 additional pages that you'll see. I think you'll see one in the July pages and then one you'll see in the August pages. But yeah, lots of things here. I was very invested in volleyball specifically this Olympics. Usually I end up like, you know, hyper focusing in on one sport. Lots of volleyball thoughts, lots of gymnastics thoughts, swimming thoughts. And then we're back to journaling. I read a book. This is my first book spread and my only book spread. This like sticky note thing is a printable from Sierra's Online Corner that I accidentally printed on cardstock instead of normal paper. So it's like very thick, but I love using these. So basically for my book review spreads, I will write the synopsis of the book on the actual page, and then I'll write my thoughts or anything I want to remember specifically on this printable sticky note. And that works out really well for me because honestly, the synopsis of the book usually does more to like jog my memory about how I felt than like trying to write my feelings out. This is what I do for all of my book review spreads. Now we have another inspiration spread, except this time, as you can see, I was inspired by myself. So these are basically like recreations or inspiration pulled from my old journals. So actually, let me go get the journal that this is from. This was from my 2022 Hobonichi cousin. And let me see where it is. All right, so this was the original spread. I did flip them. So this page is over here because I wanted Monday to be on Monday, but here is like a little bit of a side-by-side comparison. I kept this header that I did earlier when I was being inspired by other people just because I wanted to like call back to it. But honestly, I hate stamping, so I probably won't do that anymore. I like the way it looks, but the actual like act and process of stamping drives me insane. So I probably won't be doing that anymore. Next, I did an ink collection spread and vastly overestimated how many inks I had. I thought it would fill up these 2 pages, but it actually filled up this page perfectly. So I just did like Q-tip swatches of all of my inks. And while aesthetically, I love the way this looks, I don't think I swatched them properly because I know for a fact that probably half of these have shimmer and I can't see it at all. So while it is very pleasing to look at, I don't think that this necessarily like serves the function I had intended. But you know, it is what it is. We'll try again next time. But next I have the second Olympic spread. And this one, like I said, I was very into volleyball, is only about volleyball. I definitely wanted this to have some sort of organization on some level. So like if I was watching, you know, men's volleyball, women's volleyball, beach volleyball, indoor volleyball. So I was basically watching all of it. I didn't want to just like write things down and then not know exactly what I was referring to. So I did this, which is a 4-category Venn diagram. It's very extra, I understand that. But after I actually drew this in here, it was very easy to use. And aesthetically, I think it looks great. And as you can see, I had a lot of thoughts. And I think it's really fun to go back and read some of these thoughts. So very happy with this and how it turned out. And then we have the last 2 spreads of July. So there's the 30th and the 31st, which I didn't really write much because I was tired. And then on the last page here, before we go into August, I did my Receiptify, but I found out that you can actually do a 50-song Receiptify instead of the normal 10. So I did that for the last 6 months. So this is like a 6-month recap. And I called it the Receiptify CVS receipt edition because, you know, those receipts are always super long for no reason. But I really like the way that that turned out. But because of like printer restrictions, I had to like cut it up and tape it together, and then I had to fold it because it didn't fit. But I really like the end product. Here in the back, I used a Posca like paint marker that I had just gotten and really wanted to use, and a Tombow to do this fun like squiggly background that reminds me a lot of the Spotify Wrapped vibe, if you know what I'm talking about. So that is it. So those were all of my July pages in my bullet journal / creative journal One Book July situation. I really enjoyed my time doing One Book July, so much that I am now doing One Book August, or, you know, just continuing One Book July into August and using this as my only book. And what I've found is that this really works for me. I want to be a multi-book person so bad just because there are so many planners and notebooks that I want to use, but I am never more consistent than when I am in one single book. And I think that that is something that I've known about myself for a long time, but just really didn't want to accept because I want to use so many books and try so many books and be able to use all of the fun planners and products that are out there. But at the end of the day, I want to be in my books and I want to be fully engaged in them and using them to like the best of their ability and my ability. So I think that it's finally time to just admit that I am a one book person. This was a really fun exercise and I'm excited to keep it going into August, and then hopefully soon I will be back to show you all of my August pages, and I hope that I will see you guys there. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a like and subscribing if you would like to see more. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.